Ever feel like your relationship is a second full-time job? You know the scene. You're sitting in your car for an extra 10 minutes before walking into your own house, just mentally preparing for the negotiations that are about to happen. Maybe you're rehearsing how to say you're tired without starting a 3-hour debate about emotional labor. We've been fed this romanticized lie that love is a battlefield, and that if you aren't bleeding for it, it isn't real. But think about your best friend, the one you've known for a decade. Do you have to walk on eggshells with them? Do you have to work to get them to treat you with basic decency? Probably not. So why do we accept exhaustion as the price of admission for romance? There is a hidden psychology behind why some relationships feel like a marathon through mud, while others feel like a breeze. Today, we're stripping away the noble struggle myth and looking at the advice you never got about how to make things actually easy. Let's start with the noble martyr. This is the guy who thinks the more he suffers, the more he's loving. Imagine Chris. Chris spends his weekends doing errands he hates, listening to complaints he can't solve, and suppressing his own needs because he wants to be a good partner. He's exhausted, but he tells himself, this is just what relationships are. Chris is caught in a psychological trap called the sunk cost fallacy. He's invested so much effort into fixing the friction that he feels he can't leave, or else all that work was for nothing. He confuses high drama with high depth. But here's the reality. If you have to fight for basic peace, you aren't in a partnership. You're in a hostage situation. Have you ever caught yourself thinking that your exhaustion is proof of your devotion? Then there's the value asymmetric profile. This is where the structural integrity of the relationship is cracked from day one. Think of a guy named Alex. Alex is a great guy, but he's dating someone who doesn't actually respect his time, his goals, or his boundaries. He's constantly trying to earn her approval by doing more, buying more, and being more. Psychologically, this is about incentives and leverage. If she has no incentive to be easy to get along with because Alex will reward her bad behavior with more effort, then why would she change? Most men try to solve relationship problems with better communication, but you can't communicate your way out of a lack of respect. When the value is imbalanced, the person with the least to lose always controls the dynamic. Does your relationship feel like a fair exchange, or are you the only one keeping the lights on? But here's the twist. Let's look at the selection blind mindset. We often focus on how to fix the person we're with, instead of looking at how we selected them in the first place. Imagine Mark. Mark is attracted to projects, women who are high conflict or emotionally volatile, because he likes the high of the makeup after the breakup. He thinks he's a fixer, but he's actually a chaos seeker. Easy relationships aren't made. They are selected. They happen when two people with high self-worth and low interest in games find each other. If you're constantly trying to turn a storm into a sunny day, maybe the problem isn't your work ethic. It's your selection process. Are you choosing partners based on who they are, or based on the potential of who you hope they'll become? Another profile is the abundance realist. This is the man who has reached the point where he no longer fears being alone. This changes the entire psychological vibe of the relationship. When you aren't afraid to walk away from a bad deal, you stop creating the conditions that produce drama. Think of David. When his partner starts an unnecessary argument or demands more than he can give, David doesn't get angry or beg. He simply sets a boundary and detaches. Because he has other things going on in his life goals, friends, a mission, the relationship isn't his only source of oxygen. Ironically, this makes the relationship easier. When a partner knows you won't tolerate a toxic environment, they tend to stop creating one. It's about the power of the walkaway. Are you staying because you want to, or because you're afraid of the silence if you left? At the end of the day, an easy relationship isn't a myth reserved for the lucky few. It's the natural result of three things: becoming a man of value, selecting a woman who is high character, and having the courage to leave anything that requires you to sacrifice your peace of mind. Relationships should be a source of joy and support, not another item on your to-do list that drains your battery. You shouldn't have to fight for basic decency. If you do, you've already lost. So, how does this land for you? Does your relationship feel like a source of energy or a drain on your soul? Which type did you recognize? The martyr, the fixer, or the guy who's finally ready to walk toward ease. If you're tired of the struggle narrative and want to keep building a life based on strategic psychology and real value, hit that subscribe button. Let's stop fighting for crumbs and start building something that actually works. Thanks for watching. And remember, if it's not easy, it's probably not right.